Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 14, Cornelius Fudge. Harry, Ron, and Hermione had always known that Hagrid had an unfortunate liking for a large monstrous creature. During their first year tour, he had tried to raise a dragon in his little wooden house, and it would be a long time before they forgot the giant three-headed duck he'd christened, before they forgot Kristen Fluffy, and if, as a boy, Hagrid had heard that a monster was hidden somewhere in the castle, Harry was sure he'd gone to any lengths for a glimpse of it. He probably thought it was a shame that the monster had been cooped up so long, and thought it deserved the chance to stretch its many legs. Harry could just imagine the 13-year-old Hagrid trying to fit a leash and collar on it. But he was equally certain that Hagrid would never meant to kill anybody. Harry half wished he hadn't found out how to work Riddle's diary. Ron and Hermione made his recount what he'd seen until he was heartily sick of telling them and sick of long, circular conversation that followed. Riddle might have got the wrong person, said Hermione. Maybe it wasn't some of monster that was attacking people. How many monsters do you think this place can hold? Ron asked Dudley. We always knew Hagrid had been expelled, said Harry miserably, and the attacks must stop after Hagrid was kicked out. Otherwise, Riddle wouldn't got his reward. Ron tried a different track. Riddle does sound like Percy. Who asked him to squeal on Hagrid anyway? But the monster had killed someone wrong, said Hermione. And Riddle was going to go back to some Muggle orphanage if they close Hogwarts, said Harry. I don't blame you for wanting to stay here. You met Hagrid down Norton Alley, didn't you, Harry? He was buying a flesh-eating slug repellent, said Harry quickly. The three of them fell silent. After a long pause, Hermione voiced the noticed question of all in a hesitant voice. Do you think we should go and ask Hagrid about it all? That'd be a cheerful visit, said Ron. Hello, Hagrid, tell us, have you been sitting any mad and hairy loose in the castle lately? In the end, they decided that they would not say anything to Hagrid unless there was another attack, and as some more and more days went by with no whisper from the disembodied voice, they became hopeful that they would never talk to him about why he had been expelled. It was now nearly 4 months since Justin and nearly Helpless Nick had been petrified, and nearly everybody seemed to think that the attacker, whoever it was, has retired for good. Peeves had finally got bored of his "Oh, Potter, you rather" song. Ernie McLagan asked Harry quite politely to pass a bucket of liquid toadstools in herbology one day, and emerged several of Mandrake through a route and Radcliffe Purdy in Greenhouse 3. It made Professor Sprout very happy. The moment they were trying to move into each other's pots, well, now they're fully mature, she told Harry, and we'll be able to receive those poor people in the hospital wing. The second year were given something new to think about during their Easter holidays. The time had come to choose their subject for the third year, a matter that Hermione at least took very seriously. It could affect her whole future, she told Harry and Ron as they pored over lists of new subjects, making them with checks. I just want to give up potions, said Harry. We can't, said Ron gloomily. We keep all our old studying subjects, or I'd teach defense against the dark arts. But they're very important, said Hermione shocked. Not the way Lockhart teaches it, said Ron. I haven't heard anything from him. Expect not to set Pixies loose. Neville Longbottom had sent letters from all the witches and wizards in their family, all giving him different advices on what to choose. Confused and worried, he sat reading the subject list with his tongue poking out, asking people whether they thought artimancy sounded more difficult than study of ancient runes. Dean Thomas, who, like Harry, had grown up with muggles, ended up closing his eyes and jabbing his wand at the list, then picking the subject it landed on. Hermione took nobody's advice but signed up for everything. Harry smiled grimly to himself at the thought of what Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia would say if he tried to discuss the career in wizardry with them. Not that he didn't get any guidance. Percy Weasley were eager to share his experience. Depends where you want to go, Harry, he said. It's never too early to think about the future. So I recommend divination. People say Muggle studies is a soft opinion, but I personally think wizards should have a thorough understanding of the non-magical community, particularly. They are thinking of working in close contact with them. Look at my father. He has to deal with Muggle business all the time. My brother Charlie was always more of an outdoor type, so he went to care of magical creatures. Play to your strength, Harry. But the only thing Harry felt he was really good at was Quidditch. In the end, he chose the same new subjects as Ron, feeling that if he was lousy at them, at least he'd have someone friendly to help him. Gryffindor's next Quidditch match would be against Hufflepuff. Wood was insisting on team practice every night after dinner, so that Harry barely had time to do anything but Quidditch and homework. However, the training seasons were getting better, or at least drier, and the evening before Sunday's match, he went up his dormitory to drop off his broomstick, feeling Gryffindor's chances for the Quidditch Cup had never been better. But his cheerful mood didn't last long. At the top of the stairs to the dormitory, he met Neville Longbottom, who was looking frantic. Harry, I don't know who did it. I just found... Watching Harry fearfully, Neville pushed open the door. The contents of Harry's trunk had been thrown everywhere. His cloak, lay ripped on the floor. The bedclothes had been pulled off his four-poster, and the drawer had been pulled out of his bedside cabinet. The contents strewn over the mattress. Harry walked over his bed, open-mouthed, treading on a few loose pieces of travel with Jules. As he and Neville pulled the blankets back onto his bed, Ron, Dean, and Seamus came in. Dean sorely. "What happened, Harry?" "No idea," said Harry, but Ron was examining Harry's robes. All the pockets were hanging out. "Someone's been looking for something," said Ron. "Is there anything missing?" Harry started to pick up all his things and threw them into his trunk. It was only as he threw the lost of Locker's book back into the trunk he realized what wasn't there. "Riddle's diary is gone," he said in an undertone to Ron. "What?" Harry jerked his head toward the dormitory door, and Ron followed him out. They hurried down to the Gryffindor common room, which was half empty, and joined Hermione, who was sitting alone, reading books called Ancient Runes Made Easy. Hermione looked aghast at the news. "But only a Gryffindor could have stolen. Nobody else knows the passwords." "Exactly," said Harry. They walked the next day to brilliant sunshine and a light, refreshing breeze. "Perfect Quidditch conditions," said Wood enthusiastically at the Gryffindor table, loading the team's plates with scrambled eggs. "Harry, buck up there. You need a decent breakfast." Harry had been staring down the packed Gryffindor table, wondering if the new owner of Riddle's diary was right in front of his eyes. Hermione had been urging him to report the robbery, but Harry didn't like the idea. He'd have to tell a teacher all about the diary and how many people knew why Hagrid had been expelled 50 years ago. He didn't want to be the one who brought it all up again. As he left the Great Hall with Ron and Hermione to go and collect his Quidditch things, another very serious worry was added to Harry's growing list. He had just set foot on the marble staircase when he heard it yet again. "Kill this type. Let me reap tear." He shouted aloud, and Ron and Hermione both jumped away from him in alarm. "The boy," said Harry, looking over his shoulder. "I just hear it again, didn't you?"